All right, here we have the Tackle Club Saltwater Estuary box for July. Okay, so we've got a fair bit to get through here. Let's start off with the hard bodies. From top of the shelf, Rapala. Here we have the Rapala Finesse Sinking Ultralight Minnow. And these things are ultralight, so make sure you are fishing with a suitable line to get a good cast out of this. Something like a 4 pound, 6 pound braid is going to be ample. But essentially I'm going to use this one over the flats or maybe near some oyster racks or pontoons. Preferably for myself and my fishing style, I like to fish either maybe the last couple hours of an outgoing tide or the first couple hours of an ingoing tide when that tide's just coming up over these flats. Because then you get these fish up on these flats, digging around the sand, looking for food. And it's a great time to use these little hard bodies, especially these shallow diving ones like this Rapala Ultralight Minnow. Long cast out and just keep a slow to medium wind straight over the flats, and you can just cover a lot of ground and make it a good way to actually search for these feeding fish. Now, if you're fishing in deeper waters or maybe you want to go trolling for some flathead or something as well, then this next one might be a go-to for you. This is the Damiki Sokol or Sokol, I'll say Sokol. This is the Damiki Sokol hard bodies. This is a 55mm hard body. It's like a long, thin, slender minnow type profile, like the Rapala, but it's a deeper diving lure as well. So I'm going to use this one to fish any of the drop-offs that we have, or troll behind the kayak or the boat in the deeper water, and have this thing bouncing along the bottom. Or if you're fishing pontoons or oyster racks where you may have a deeper water column, this is going to be great for that as well. Get twitchy with it, so rip it down, add a few pauses into a medium speed wind, a few more twitches, and you're laughing. This is the Gamoku Ultra Blade from Storm Lures. So a tiny little 5 gram blade or vibration style lure, which is fantastic once again for covering a lot of ground and finding fish. And the good thing about these is you can fish them vertically, straight up and down, maybe next to some bridge pylons, or you can cast them over the flats and use them as a search bait as well. Fantastic little lure for that, with double hooks underneath, not treble, so it will be a little bit more snag resistant if you are going to fish this over some rocks or over some oysters and stuff like that. You probably still run the risk of snagging as you do with any lure, but with those double hooks, it's going to be that little bit more snag resistant. So with this, I'm going to actually fish this similar to the Ultralight Minnow and the Damiki Sokol hard bodies, but because this is a sinking lure, you can allow this to sink right to the bottom of the water column and just fish it along the bottom of the water column, so it's bouncing in the sand in amongst that structure and kicking up a lot of sand and soot as you're doing this. Fantastic way to fish it. But then we've got 3 different soft plastic options. So I'll start off with the Marker 54 glide shrimps. These are a 1/4 ounce pre-rigged shrimp lure. So you're going to be essentially imitating a little prawn. Perfect for flathead, big flatties, big mulloway as well will eat these. Snapper, or you might be a small squire where you're fishing. Tuskies, you can get all sorts of fish on these and it's great. I like to just cast them out, let them sink, and then do a couple little hops, wind the slack line in, pause, let it sink back down to the bottom, let it sit on the bottom for a few seconds before I jump back into another couple hops, winding in my slack line. I try to always fish this so I'm casting up current, so whenever it is sinking, it swims with the current, so the current's doing all the work for me and getting all that micro movement in the little legs going for me, because that can also entice a bite as well as it's slowly sinking back down to the bottom. And then we're moving over to the last 2 soft plastic options. These are not pre-rigged, but we have included some hooks in the box for you this month. So these are a 1/16 10 heavy gauge TT Lures Tournament Series jig head. Say that 10 times over. That's your challenge this month. But these will fit both of these, so that's not going to be an issue. The first one is the Fish Arrow Flash J Grub in the 3-inch. I've got here the Shirasu Silver, or like a white with a silver finish fleck, which is why I love Fish Arrow plastics. That foil inside them gives them just this certain texture when you push down on, so like a little crunch. But not only that, it gives you all this extra flash as well. That foil in there catches a lot of sunlight, gives off a lot of flash, so you can entice predators from a little bit further away to come and have a look at what you're fishing with. Now that is a curl tail type plastic. The next one is the Damiki Squash Shad. First look at this, you will think that these are kind of weird looking, because that's exactly what I thought too. Got a big squashed looking tail on them, but it kind of recedes back out, not recedes, that's like what my hairline's doing. It kind of comes back out to like a paddle tail, but with a squashed looking tail before it on a grub type body. So they're a very unique looking plastic, but you're gonna fish them essentially just like a paddle tail plastic. And these jig heads, the 1/16 1/0 heavy gauge tournament series TT Lures jig heads, will still be perfect for these squash shads. Just two different swim styles essentially with these plastics, but because of the really light jig head weight, once again like the prawns, we're going to cast up current and let that current just do all the swimming for you. By the time that gets to the bottom, you'll be wanting in your slack line in as that current swimming it, but then you can do a couple big hops to get it darting off the bottom back up where the current will make it swim again. Great way to fish ultralight finesse style plastics, and I've caught a huge array of species doing this sort of fishing. Now don't forget to check out your price breakdown list. This gives you all the retail prices of all the objects here, as well as showing you what you actually saved by getting the Tackle Club box and the savings that we pass on to you. But in the top left corner here's a little QR code, so if you open up your camera app on your smartphone and scan the QR code, this will take you to a free, yes, completely free online e-mag brought to you by Tackle Club for Tackle Club subscribers. So don't forget to check that one out. If you want to check this box out or any of the others in the range, just head to www.tackleclub.com.au, pick a box that's right for you, and welcome to the club.